Okay, guys, so here we are. We got the 2025 Auto Shop Growth Workshop. I'll be sharing this real quick for you. I'll be sharing my screen, and you should be able to see my video. We've kind of disabled all the participant videos, so there's no real distractions. But let me go ahead and share my screen for you, and I'll be talking through some stuff here and providing you what I think is a lot of value for your business going forward. Talking about 2025 Auto Shop Growth. And so who is this workshop for? It's really for any auto service related business industry. So we're talking auto repair shops, auto body and collision shops, detailers, PDR, including hail. So I mean, even if you chase hail around the country, it definitely works for you guys too. And custom shops. So when I say custom, what I mean by that is shops that specialize in like upgrades, whether it's cosmetic or actual upgrades. So this can help there too. And I know some body shops do that type of work too. And it really, if you're just starting out in business or if you've been in business for years. So I wish I would have seen this years ago because you can kind of just skip ahead and know what to do. The only real requirement is that you want to grow. And for some people, that may seem obvious you want to grow, but some businesses do not. And if you're here, you'll probably understand that. Sometimes businesses reach a plateau and they're just kind of happy at that point. But I would say that if you're not growing, then potentially you're dying. So I mean, especially in auto where you need a recurring number of customers per month, then if you don't have that, then obviously your business is not going to last. So what will you learn today? Hopefully you learn this and more, but I think these are kind of the critical pieces for growth. And I think you need to identify your 2025 car count goal. And I'm going to specifically walk you through this. And there's no doubt to what you should get after seeing this. I mean, uh, so car count goal, number of leads to hit that goal. So there's the goal is one thing. Then there's how many leads you need to get to that goal. Okay. And then the strategies to actually build that lead pipeline. So it's kind of a cascading, like a downward effect, reverse, uh, reverse kind of stair step back from your goal, how to achieve it. So those top strategies, and that will help you. Obviously, there's other systems and stuff that you need to talk about and look at. But in terms of that, a great business, what does a great business need? Uh, Obviously, there's a lot of things you need, but when it comes down to the basics of business, here is really what you need. You need a great service or product. And obviously, everyone here most likely has a great service. You might actually sell some products too, but we're really talking about services. And you probably either do the service yourself. So you might be the tech that's actually doing the work, or you have techs that do the work for you. So ideally, you get to that point later if you're not there already. And so that's where a lot of people start. That's where a lot of people get hung up on just doing the great work. So in order to have the business, you need to kind of increase that skill set to the marketing, sales, and systems. So the next piece is the marketing. It's how to get people to continue to come in to your business day in, day out. And then of course the sales piece. Now in auto, a lot of what you guys do, what we do in auto, kind of sells itself. I mean, people need their car fixed or car repaired. In some cases, the upgrades people want, but a lot of times that service kind of sells itself, but you still need to sell a little bit. So not too much, and then the systems on how to run all that stuff together. And of course, you're going to need techs and other pieces there, but systems kind of incorporate a lot of pieces there. And talking about those marketing pieces, we're going to talk about the 5 keys for auto shop growth, auto shops to get more calls, more quotes, more customers. So this is kind of after you get the leads, how to actually go about it. Before we get into that, here's quick about us. If you've seen any of my videos, you know this already, but all the stuff that I ever talk about is always based on experience that we've done or that I know people have done themselves. But in this case, all the stuff I'm going to talk about is things that I've seen from actual shops. And these are results from actual shops that will help you if you do it. So across all the categories I've already mentioned, auto repair, auto body, PDR, detailers, custom. So of course there's some other ones there as well. As you can see, my background's military, 21 years in the Navy, uh, flying and deploying around the world, as well as management and leadership. So now I've kind of shifted that service over towards the small business side, and in particular the auto shop area. So before we talk about keys for auto shop growth, let's get into that car count question for you. So the first question that you need to think about, and hopefully you take notes or write this stuff down, is what is your auto shop growth goal or car count goal? Now, hope maybe you have this, maybe you don't, but you can kind of think about this right now. And here's how you do it. I'm just going to walk you through it. It's super easy to think about. So how many more cars or customers do you want per day? Um, Now, if your business kind of has cars overlapping multiple days, or it's a week or a month, it doesn't really matter. It's really per month, but the daily part makes it easy to kind of quantify. So how many more customers do you want or cars do you want? And then how many days a week are you open? I mean, this is super easy. A lot of car shops have kind of shifted over towards the 5 day work week. So some guys do 6, but most do not do 7. But whatever it is you do, how many days a week? It's easy. I'm going to pull up a little calculator here for a second. Uh, then here is a key part. What is your average customer ticket value? Now, when we're talking average customer ticket value, of course, in an auto shop, you could have, you know, $100 less oil change, right? $80, $50, $80. Uh, it used to be real cheap, but you could have a low cost thing like that. It doesn't make you much money, or you could have thousands of dollars. So thousands of dollars in a repair. Now, ideally, you guys are up higher in that range. Even detailing can be up there. Uh, but we're not talking about the high end or the low end. We're talking about the average. So on average, what is the customer ticket value? So again, this is for yourself to think about. And now let's take a look at, I've actually got this auto shop growth lead calculator. I'm going to show you the exact numbers right here. So this is what you need to think about. Let me actually zero this out real quick and we can go through it. So the average customer ticket, again, this could be hundreds. For most shops, it's got to be at least probably $500, $600, $700. So a car. Uh, so it could be thousands, but let's just say for simplicity's sake, it's going to be $500 is your average customer ticket. Okay. How many more additional customers, not how many customers, but how many additional customers do you want? So again, for simplicity's sake, let's just say 5. Now, some people may do less. Some people may do a lot more. You may have 20. It doesn't matter. But we're doing simple calculations here to show you how to come up with this yourself. How many days of week do you work? Okay. Let's just say 5, guys. So now, simple math, and you can follow the formula. You can write this down. Okay. It's 25 a week, 100 customers a month times $500. Now, obviously, change this for your own particular business. And now you're looking at 50K a month is what your goal is. This is not getting there yet. This is what you want to get. So you kind of want to be realistic here. I mean, how many can you actually service? Not your fantasy goal might be good, but we want to look at realistic part for this year. Because if you say, hey, I want to get, 20 customers a day, well, can your shop actually handle that? That's the thing. But let's go back to 5 and now 50K. Again, plug in your own numbers, right? So here's your goal. This is your goal car count, whether you're looking at per month or per day, right? 5 or 100. But think about this for yourself because that's our key part. Now, it's how many leads does it take to get to that number? Because just because you have a goal doesn't mean you're going to get those leads in there. So now this calculator here will show me the lead cost and what it's going to take to get there. Let me just bring it over here. So let me just bring this down. So in here, what I have is what we need to know is the average lead cost. Now, for some people, they may have no idea what that cost. This is a marketing value in auto-related world. So auto repair, auto body. A lot of leads we see coming in, whether it's Facebook or Google or whatever ad platform, it can be in the $10 to $30 range. So if we say it's $15 a lead, not 150, $15 a lead. Again, it can be less. If you do things like chasing hail, that's a little bit more expensive. But this actually is very true for like auto repair, auto body detailing. Um, Cost per lead. Employee cost, I left that as 0 for right now, but this would be whatever you would pay somebody like an employee or a service company to help you out. So lead closing percentage. Now, out of every 10 leads that come to you, or 10 people that get a quote request or a call, something like that, how many actually come and actually get your service? If you say, hey, out of 10, every 6, like 6 out of 10 would actually come to me. So that means your lead closing percentage is 60%. If that's the case, we can look down here and say, well, my goal is 100 customers a month to make 50K a month additional. This is how many leads I need. I need 167. This is actually simple math that actually works pretty well. And I've seen this work with with actual shops. So some guys, they focus so much on the production, but that they're not working on this part in the sales. So here's where the salesmanship comes in a little bit, is good customer service. So in some cases, some of those guys are down about 40%, right? So here's where you can personally improve your shop by increasing this lead closing percentage to get people in there. The average lead cost is really a marketing number, which it can go down, but this is about average. Anyway, if we assume this, and I hope I haven't lost you guys, but if you assume that 6 out of 10 people coming into your shop will close, it's going to cost you about $2,500 a month in ads. Now this is just kind of arbitrary. It just depends on what your shop is, right? But would you pay $2,500 in ads to make $50,000 a month, right? Again, just an example based on these numbers, because you got to tailor this for your specific shop. So I hope that helps you understand this part. And this is one of the 2 critical pieces for today is what's your goal shop number for your car count? And then how many leads do you need to get there? You may say, well, hey, I can't spend that much in ads, and that's fine. But you know that eventually, as you grow, you can get there. So anyway, we'll come back to this later, but here's something important for you guys to understand, because most people don't even understand this part. So basically, after we've looked at that, you should now have your 2025 car count goal number. Now, I don't know your shop, but you guys can know based on the employees you have, based on your production levels, can you do 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 more cars a day? Again, that's what it takes. Then you know the leads to hit that goal. Okay, so that being said, now we can take this stuff and say, well, okay, well, how do I get these leads? You need to look at the top strategies to fill your lead pipeline and grow your auto shop. So that's what the rest of this is going to be about, is taking the numbers that you guys have come up with, and then here's the strategies how to do it. So the 5 keys for auto shop growth is, again, there's some other things outside, but these are the marketing keys to get your leads in. And the first part is your online presence. So we could talk a lot about all of these, but I'm just going to give you a very broad overview because most people have all these things. And if you're there in that case, perfect. If you're not, then these are the first things that you need to do for your business. And so when we're talking online presence, there are so many things out there where your business can be located, so many business directories. But when people go online to search for you, really the number one way they're going to find you is your website. and Google Business Facebook. So let's just talk about those real quick. First off, your website, it's the first place where people will see you, most likely. It's the first impression they get, right? So when you look at, let's just do a quick comparison. Which of these looks more professional and who would you call? Now this guy here was a German auto repair shop, did great work. You can see, Porsche in the background. Had Audis, stuff like that. So very high-end work, but the website looks like, looks pretty bad. Has no reflection of the work, but it's basically that first impression. So this is kind of later on what it looks like. Same guy, same business, but it's the first impression. So we could talk more about how to make your website better, but that's just something for you guys to think about. The next piece is Google Business. So this is Google Places. They changed the name around. But anyway, when you open up your Google Maps and you're looking for pizza near me or Chinese food, this is how your shop shows up on Google Maps. If you don't have Google Maps, a Google Places listing, then there's virtually no way someone's going to find you. So hopefully, I think most people here have this, and that's good. Most people are probably doing really well on this. You can optimize this and improve your local listing. As a quick note, if you look at these kind of fake sites right here, these are kind of fake auto body and PDR shops, but I mean, this guy has 26 reviews. Obviously, he looks better because he has more reviews. So the number one thing you would need to do is just work on getting more reviews. But we've got a whole video on how to do Google Business. I just wanted to share that piece that you need to have that, obviously. Okay, Facebook business page. Here is how people see you on Facebook. Now, Facebook business page is a little bit different than the Google piece. Obviously, people are not usually going to see your posts that much. Keep in mind, I mean, only about 3 to 5% of your followers would ever see your post. The Facebook business page is good to show that you're existing, but it's also the way that you need to promote ads on Facebook. So again, it's free. At the minimum, you need to have it and have the other items. So that is the basic core of the online presence. Now, how do most auto shops get customers? Think about this for yourself. And you may come up with this answer before I do. Hopefully you do in your mind. So most shops, and I would even say most businesses, a lot of do this is word of mouth and referrals. So if you're not advertising, then this is predominantly where your business is coming from. It's word of mouth and referrals, which is great. Obviously, you want people to talk about your business and you want referrals. The problem is that if we go back to our lead calculator, if we're, Billy Bob's auto repair trying to get 100 more customers a month, and we need 167 leads, it's very unlikely that we're going to get that from word of mouth. I mean, go up to, let's say you want 10 more, it's very unlikely you're ever going to get 300 by word of mouth. So that is why you need a different strategy. And that is why these two are, once again, great to have, and you want a good reputation, but it's not a reliable growth strategy. So here's kind of another thing I threw in there is why do most small businesses fail? We could probably talk about this a lot, but there are obviously a lot of reasons why an individual shop would fail or other businesses. But at the core of it, what I've seen in the last few years is that most of them fail because no one knows about you. You could argue whether their service wasn't that good a product, but the easy example is restaurants, and restaurants come and go. But if you've ever thought about the hole in the wall restaurant, well, I never even knew about the place. Well, there's a reason, because they didn't advertise, they didn't put their name out there. I've heard this excuse that, well, the market is bad, the economy, inflation, etc. People aren't buying. All those things are just simply not true. Unless you live so far out in the middle of nowhere and have a very small town, it's just not true. People are absolutely spending money, especially in this industry, in the auto industry. So people need auto repair, they need auto body work. Those two they absolutely need, and they're looking for it every day. The other things, detailing, the PDR, stuff like that, they may not need it, but they want it. So people spend money on their cars, and it's easy to prove. Okay, so here kind of is the quick overview on the left side here. These most shops have this stuff that we talked about, the website, the Google business, the Facebook. Uh, and then most shops that are not growing do not have the things on the right. They don't have the Google Ads, Facebook, and follow up. So we could kind of tie in AI on that one too. So these are kind of where we're going to focus on next. And let's kind of talk about ad platforms, because I kind of just mentioned these keys right here, Google, Facebook. There are some other platforms out there. And let me just give you a quick overview. Of course, this discussion could be a lot longer, but Facebook and Instagram ads are Meta. It's the Meta business. So Facebook ads manager is really what runs both of these. But when you think about Facebook ads, it's actually 11 to 14 different placements. So we're talking, Facebook posts and reels and I mean profiles and all these different places, Facebook video feeds, and there's a lot of different places on Facebook that your Facebook ads can show up. So again, Facebook ads is where people, or Facebook platform is where people are wasting a lot of time. You might be on Facebook right now while you're watching this. So uh, it's where people are wasting a lot of time. Uh, and so by doing that, it's where we can get in front of those people. So Google Ads, on the other hand, is, I mentioned this before, it's where we can get in front of those people who are searching right now for your service or product. It's that easy. And I'll talk more about that. YouTube is similar. People are searching on YouTube. People are also wasting time. So it's a combination of Google and Facebook. It's a very good, it's a video platform, obviously. You might be watching this on YouTube. You might be watching YouTube while you're watching this. So TikTok ads, same type of thing. TikTok is obviously people are spending a lot of time and wasting a lot of time there, like Facebook. So it's another place where we can hit people who are spending time just hanging out. So those are the common platforms. Now, which one should you really pick for auto shops? So really, in our experience, it's these top three. And I would even go a step further and say the top two. So I would start with Facebook and Google Ads. Obviously, if you have a bigger budget, you can go with all three. If you have another budget, you can go with TikTok as well. So it's kind of a combination. It's more of a broad marketing strategy, but those two are where I'd start, and we can kind of go into that here in a second. When we're talking about these ad platforms, what we're talking about is the goal is for leads. So we always need to come back to our calculator here. And our calculator here shows us, okay, I just put it in 10. Let's go back to 5. So we need 167 leads. How are we going to get those, right? For this made up shop. And, and uh, it's going to come from these ad platforms. And the platforms, the goal is usually lead generation. So looking at, I don't know why I got this little green thing on there. So looking at, let me see if I can erase that. Okay, good. Uh, looking at lead generation, what are the keys here? And there's some other keys too, but I would actually say the number one key is calling leads back as soon as possible. But here I say having an automated system to really call them back, or call, text, and email them back. The call piece would be AI, which is kind of in works, but really you want to call them back as soon as possible. So, and we could go into this more, but whenever you're spending money on ads and if you get leads, if you wait too long, that lead's going to go somewhere else. So imagine I'm looking for an auto body shop or detail or whatever it is. I'm looking for this. Well, if I'm looking, that means I have an intent right there to purchase. And if I fill out my information on your shop or call you and you don't call me back, what am I going to do? I'm going to call someone else. So that lead is hot right then. It may not be hot 30 minutes later. So how soon should you call them back? If it's during normal business hours, you should have someone ready to call them back immediately. So 30 seconds, which seems impossible. And I give you, it is difficult. But the quicker you call them back, the more impressive you'll be, for one. And two, the more likely you are to get that business. So three is you need to sell the service. So I mean, this is where it shouldn't be that difficult to sell your service as a service provider in the auto industry. Okay, let's go into Google Ads real quick. That is the next key, and this is for getting in front of people who are searching for your business. And one of the questions you need to look at, and I always get this a lot, is, hey, are people actually looking for my service? Well, this is easy to do. We can do it we can pull up the data in a few minutes and see what exactly the search volume is in your area and go from there. Generally speaking, let me look at what auto shops should use Google Ads. It's pretty much all these shops, you know, auto repair, auto body, PDR, detailers, custom. And I'll caveat it with any other business with a search volume. So if you happen to stumble upon this video and see, should you use it? Well, if there's a search volume for your service, then yes. So, and how do we do that? We can pull up some data and see in your area how much people are searching for your service. Then we'll know. That's simple market research. But I will give you another caveat, is that if you have a limited budget or you're just starting out, which may be a lot of folks on here. So limited budget, I would start with Google Ads if you're kind of the red line or above. So, below that, detailers and custom shops, if you're just starting out, limited budget, I'd go Facebook ads first, Facebook, Instagram. We can get leads a lot quicker there. They may be lower quality, but you can get them a lot quicker. But you will want to move into Google for search. Now, above here with auto repair, auto body, collision repair, there's typically so much demand wherever you are in the country. Just think about everyone has a car, which means everyone eventually will need a mechanic. A lot of times people will get in an accident. I don't want to, but a lot of people need that. So that's why in high density areas, there's 50 to 100,000 more searches per month on a lot of these. So that's where those top two are key for Google Ads. PDR is kind of an in-between. It depends on the population density in your area. So we really have to dig in and see. So that would be kind of yellow line. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So then how can Google Ads help your shop? Well, in each one of these, what we're looking at is leads. There are some other strategies I'll mention as far as Facebook goes, but with Google, we want leads once again, if we look at our calculator. And these are people who are searching online. And the leads can come from a phone call or a kind of a landing page quote request. And I will give you the example here in a second. And actually, here's an example of a Google ad. This first one is actually PDR. So this actually looks like, okay, Google, you guys could do this in your phone or on your computer while we're talking. So type in your type of industry, your type of shopping. You'll see some ads here. It says PDR, but it's kind of like what it looks like. And you got the call down here. Here's a mechanic example. And you notice sometimes when you have these ads, it will only be a tiny piece, maybe one line. And then sometimes you have this big piece right there. Well, like, look at this, how big it is. Well, in some cases, it's Google rotating it. In some cases, it's just the ads are not set up right. They're not very good. Google actually rewards you for setting up all your ads how they want. They want your ads to perform well so that you give them more money. So they're going to actually give you more space on the ad platform. I don't know if you guys remember, if there's some older people like me in here, where, we used to have newspapers and the ad was in the newspaper. You'd pay more money for that big ad in the newspaper. Well, or a little ad would cost less, but it's less impressive. Well, here, Google is giving you the opportunity to take out a bigger space for the same amount of money. It's just a matter of using the capability that they provide you. Okay, so now how does this work? Well, when someone clicks on this ad, whether it's PDR, Autobody, whatever it is, click on the ad, that's when Google charges you. Okay, so it's not free, obviously, but I will tie that into the example of the lead here in a second. But when someone clicks this ad or clicks on your call button, ideally one or two things happen. So ideally, you know, they click on this call button during the business hours and call you. That's a lead, right? If they click on this, it should go over to a landing page. So it's a page that looks like your website, but it may not be the same thing. And then they'll fill out this form and that will become your lead. So if we go back to our calculator here, each click here can have a ranging cost. It could be less than $1, could be $5, $10. But on average, a lot of auto-related clicks will be about $3, $4. So now, if we look at this calculator and say, oh, average lead cost, again, this is kind of made up, but it's similar to some clients that we've seen, $15 for some leads. Well, how many clicks does it take to get a lead? It might take 4 or 5 clicks, right? We don't care as much about the clicks. We care about these are conversions in Google. And that is where this lead cost comes in. So we got the lead cost, and that helps us understand the rest of this cost matrix. So we could spend a lot more time on that, but we won't. Okay. So the landing page, hopefully I haven't lost too many people on this, but let's go back to the Google ad just to make sure you're understanding. Click on this right here, the ad. It just costs you a little bit of money on Google, but hopefully it doesn't matter because they're going to come on your landing page and you're going to fill out the form and send you the information. Now you got a lead. Okay. So now, depending on whether you have an appointment system driven into there or not, this could go into an appointment system and help you out, or you call them back. We'll talk about follow-ups here in a second, but that's the basic premise of Google Ads, what you want to happen. So I hope the biggest takeaway that I hope you understand is that Google Ads are getting in front of people who are searching for your product or service, your service, and it costs when they click on it, doesn't cost otherwise. And hopefully you get a phone call or a lead from here. That's what you want. So that's Google Ads. The next piece is Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads, we have this little table here, and I think most people already understand this, that, it's better than billboards and radio and all that stuff. But really, this allows us to target a specific audience in a specific area. And even, it can get down to neighborhoods. So if you say, hey, we don't want to target that neighborhood, it's not going to help us out. Well, you can avoid those areas as well. You can avoid that on Google as well, but Facebook will allow you to hyper target certain areas. With auto, it just depends on your population density. So now let's talk about what auto shop services should use Facebook ads. Okay. So here is kind of my list. Once again, it can be anyone, but if you're just kind of starting out, this is kind of the recommended list from my experience. So, auto body collision, and we can show you proven ones about each one of these: detailers, PDR, hail, custom shops. And I think I have some examples. I can show you some of these. You'll notice that auto repair is on here. Auto repair can be a Facebook ad, and I can show you that too. It's just not where I would start. Google Ads is really where you want to start because that's where people are searching. Auto repair, you can get leads, but it's a little bit different. So Here's a quick um, piece of advice for you for Google Ads, and never boost a or Google Facebook ads. Never boost a Facebook ad. A lot of times, if you have a Facebook business page and you make a post, you may see this pop up on your phone and say, "Oh, boost this post," and it'll seem so easy just to add $5 or $25. Well, I have very rarely, if ever, seen that have any beneficial impact for a business. A lot of times, Facebook makes it super easy for the boosting part, but it's not easy to actually put in the targeting and put in the all the other data that we want. It can be done, but you actually have to work at it in there to make sure it's done right. So that's why I would never boost a post. We've actually got new clients because of that by seeing their post across the country. So keep in mind, try not to boost the post, do it in the back end. Now, how long does it take for Facebook ads to work? I didn't really mention this for Google ads, but how long does it take for Facebook ads to work? Here's one of the major benefits for Facebook ads is that, it can happen pretty quick. Let's see. Uh, if they're set up correctly, and again, what we want is leads. I should actually go back to this slide here. How can Facebook ads help you? Is actually leads. Primarily leads. There's other things. We got local branding, but again, in this particular growth strategy, what we want is leads. We're always trying to get to this lead number per month, right? If we keep in mind our goal, we need this many leads to get to that goal. And how are we getting those leads? Well, we're getting them Facebook leads, lead form, messenger, landing page. We can do this other strategy, which I'll mention too, but it's not leads. So now, how long can it work? Get back to that. If it's set up correctly, it can actually start working the same day or within a few days. And that's the good thing about Facebook is you'll know very quickly whether it's working or not. In fact, if it's not working within a few days, there might be something wrong. But this also depends. I mean, for things like hail repair, it can be different on that note. I don't know if we have any hail repair guys in here today. So, and I will say you need to constantly monitor not just Facebook ads, but Google as well. So it's not one of those things where you can just set it and forget it because you can just be spending a lot of money on Facebook without any benefit. Okay. Now here's the one I mentioned, local branding. This is actually been something that kind of surprised me when I first did it. You can do as low as $1 a day on a video or on an ad, which doesn't seem like much, but if you're, when we're talking auto shops, auto body shops that are in a tight area, you might be able to reach 10, 15,000 people for, maybe $5 a day. So if you have a video, if you have 5 different videos, $1 per day on video, then you can actually use those extra videos to retarget people. And it has the effect of showing your face over and over and over again. So that's a branding strategy. I mean, it can result in leads, but the big impact is, hey, we want to make our brand known to the local area. So it's one thing I just want to mention to people that they don't always think about. Here's a couple examples of how these have helped certain shops. So you'll notice on these examples that we have these banners, but you don't really have to do that as much anymore. The big piece is you do want to get attention on the ad, and again, we could talk Facebook ads for hours strategy, but here's just some quick examples on how it could work for this. Could be auto body or PDR. Obviously, it's almost impossible for PDR. This is actually PDR, and this is actually surprising, but a lot of leads. So that's the type of picture and detailing. I mean, these are kind of older, but I mean, detailing leads should be easy to get on Facebook, non day in, day out, more detailing. This is the upgrade one. Here's an example for an upgrade. This is powder coating. But if you think of any kind of upgrade option for your shop, we got powder coating, we got leather seats. This was actually really surprising when we did this, but a lot of leads for super low cost. Here's the auto repair, which I don't particularly like the use this example, but um, it does work. It can work. Here's another one, kind of different. There may be some kind of sales people in here too, but this is like off-road trailers, which it actually surprisingly works well too. So it kind of goes to show you that almost any kind of product or service can be sold or pitched on Facebook. So just keep that in mind. All right. The next piece, and we're getting kind of to the end here. The next piece is kind of AI automated follow-ups. Again, with AI, with some of this stuff, we've got specific videos and all this, but I'm just going to give you the quick overview. And when we're talking the ad platforms and the responses, uh, so with these other ads, with these Facebook ads, okay, which with each one of these, what we do is we have a form that pops up. So every single one of these, it's a form. They're kind of custom. And here's the example. I think it's a leather seat one. But hey, put your name, phone number in there, and then we can have additional categories that say what kind of car you make and model do you have, what do you need? And then they click next, and then they submit it. That's you get that lead. I'm going to show you what happens here in a second. So that's the Facebook ad, the landing page. So Google, this is again Google ads. I mean, when someone clicks on your, Google ad, they click on the auto repair, the PDR ad. They go to this landing page. And then here, this is kind of, custom as well, but name, a phone number. Okay, what kind of car you're making, model do you have? Do you have pictures of your damage, stuff like that? And then submits to you. So that's the input side. Now the automated follow-up, the AI piece, there's a lot of improvements with AI we're seeing now, but the automated follow-ups is really where you want you want the lead to automatically get a text. So here's just a quick example. Hey, Samuel, call this number. You tell them the information you want them to do, but you also want it to text to your sales reps. Okay, whether that's you or, another manager or salesperson, whatever, you want this lead. And here's how we can call them within 30 seconds. So imagine, you're one of your service people, one of your salespeople, or maybe even just you gets a lead from Facebook or from Google, and they get that during the day. We're not talking at night. No one expects that, but during the day. And then you get this text. It might say, "Hey, Billy Bob's auto repair lead." You call them, you press that button in your phone immediately. Imagine the impact you can have on someone. It'll kind of freak them out how quickly you return their call. And you're more likely to get that business. So that's kind of the response there for you. You can also send emails and as well and voicemails. So here's the kind of the quick AI automated follow-up synopsis on what you can and should do is, you should really have the automated follow-ups on all your website forms and chat. So if you have a little chat widget, and you can have the automated follow-ups, and then you can actually tie in AI to actually start a conversation with them, which we've seen. We're using one now to where it will actually help book appointments for you. So this is especially useful when you don't have time to contact them, at night or even if you're doing work. So use it for ads as well, text, email, voicemail, and then generate appointments and then request a review. So here's where that review piece comes in. Hopefully you guys have a review system to where after a service call is completed, then they're getting a request to review your business. And that's where that Google business reviews are just kind of increasing. That's really going to help you out. So that's the quick AI automated follow-ups. And then the last piece is kind of customer tracking. We can do all these things. You can do all this time. You can spend all this time and money on ads. But if you're not following up, if you're not tracking it, it's not going to be as helpful as useful. So you really do want a system to where you can track leads across your pipeline. When new leads come in, okay, they're in a different category here. They're in production status and their work's complete. So you can, when you're doing that with certain systems, and one we recommend can send text to say, hey, your parts have been ordered and it's on your work is at the body shop, and whatever it is pertaining to your particular business. It may not be that elaborate, but at least you do want to track them. you want to have some kind of system where you're tracking this in a dashboard type thing. And uh, we also like with ours, this actually you can message them back and forth and text them and call them straight here. So whatever system you use, you do want to be able to track them, set appointments, ideally respond in text and email, and just request reviews as well. So the I kind of hit on that really fast because that's kind of the last part of that overall strategy there is that customer tracking. So that was uh, that kind of sums up kind of the auto shop growth process. And hopefully you kind of took away that one is what is your goal? What is your goal? And maybe I should go over to this is that, hopefully you identified your 2025 car count goal. And if you didn't, then go back and think about that. Think about what your goal is, even if you don't know how to get there yet. You can have a great goal, have a big goal, and then the number of leads to hit that goal, you can use that formula that we told you on how to hit that goal. And then use the strategies that I kind of talked about to get the leads in order to hit the goal. So kind of backtracks here on what to do. Uh, and just kind of a summarize here, I had this up earlier, but advertising, if you think about it, it helps you get the leads. So the leads, going back to our spreadsheet, here's where your goal comes in to say, here's how many leads I need to reach my goal. So it may be, I may need 167 leads to get 100 customers. Okay, so there's how many I need. And now the leads are phone calls or quote request, from some kind of advertising. And then some of those leads turns into appointments. Some will just come straight in. Uh, and then the appointments into customers. So it's kind of a flow, kind of a funnel down into your business. So once again, I hope that helped. I hope you gained some information on all these pieces. And the next piece would really be, you can try these things on your own, and hopefully you will. Hope a lot of stuff you do need to do on your own. But for us, with all these marketing pieces and pretty much all the stuff I talked about, we can either help you with or show you, kind of give you a little bit more insights into what you should do. Obviously, we can't talk to individual business owners on here. There's just too many. And I wouldn't want to kind of talk about your personal business on here. But what you can do is just go to autoshopmarketingpros.com and click on schedule and go ahead and schedule kind of a call with us. All right. So there is a link, and that may or may not work in this Zoom call, but autoshopmarketingpros.com/schedule. Schedule a call with us. We can talk about individually what your goal can be or should be, and see some of the processes that it would take to get there. So, and then of course you can get our help to grow faster. Once again, hopefully that helped you guys. With that, we are at the end of our time. So hope you guys have a great day, and Merry Christmas in a few weeks. Take care, and God bless you all.